In this video, we'll be dealing with the traffic capacity, density and the speed. I've already told you about the traffic volume. What the traffic volume is. The traffic volume is the amount of vehicles, the number of vehicles which are moving on a particular road section, which are crossing a particular road section in a unit time. So basically the traffic volume is the counting or the number of vehicles which should be in moving position. They should cross the road section in a particular unit time. In over a period of 1 hour, how many vehicles are crossing? That would be the traffic volume. Now, what's the traffic density? First start with the traffic capacity. Traffic capacity, like traffic volume is the number of vehicles on a certain road. Traffic capacity is the ability of the roadway to handle the traffic volume. Traffic capacity is what? Traffic capacity is the ability. Like if you'll take the example of a bottle, or let's say we have this. इसकी अगर हम बात करते हैं, and we have filled this bottle with water, the water is present everywhere in this bottle, like this. सब इसके अंदर पानी भरा हुआ है. Now, if somebody will ask you what is the volume of this bottle, then you will calculate the volume like LBH. This will be the volume. And somebody will ask you what is the capacity, then you will say the water which is present in this particular bottle, or you can say the maximum water, which is maximum amount of water which this bottle can handle or this bottle can store, will be the capacity of this bottle. It means that you can say that the maximum capacity or the capacity of the roadway is the ability of the roadway to accommodate the traffic volume, which means that capacity is basically the maximum volume, or it is the handling ability of the particular road section It means that the number of vehicles which the road section can handle, which the road section can accommodate, is the capacity of the road section, but the number of vehicles which are moving from that road section, that is the volume. So basically these two things are almost the same. The capacity is also having a unit of vehicle per hour. So both are having the same unit, vehicle per hour or vehicle per day, whatever it is, depending upon the time which you are considering. So the number of vehicles which are crossing a particular road section in unit time is the traffic volume, and the number of vehicles, or you can say the ability of the roadway to handle the traffic volume, is known as the capacity of the roadway. Fine. The other term which is known as traffic density. Now, density is basically the number of vehicles present in a kilometer length of roadway. It means that whether moving or not moving, the density will be the number of vehicles present in a kilometer length of roadway. It is not like related to the movement. Whether it is moving or not moving, the density will be there. It means the density is talking about a certain length. If you are asking or fixing a certain length, this is 1 kilometer, then the number of vehicles, whether standing or moving, that will be the density. You can say that when the vehicles are not moving, then they will be at minimum spacing, they will be at minimum spacing, and when they are minimum spacing and they are in standing position, they are not moving position, then that will be the condition which is known as the traffic jam condition. And when there is traffic jam condition, then it is known as the maximum traffic density. It means that then in that case, there will be the maximum number of vehicles which will be present in the road section, but they are not moving, and the road section will be having a length of 1 kilometer. It means that in that case, there will be the maximum number of vehicles which are present in 1 kilometer length of roadway, and that is the density of that particular road section, which is the jam density. If you will say that the vehicle has a spacing of S minimum, which is the minimum spacing in the vehicles, agar isse kam spacing hoti hai, to vehicle mein accident ho jayega. It means that if S minimum is the maximum spacing of the vehicle, then the density which is represented by the jam density Kj, jam density means maximum density. This will be 1000 divided by S minimum. 1000 means 1 kilometer. The 1 kilometer mein, if you want to calculate the number of vehicles which are present, that will be 1000 upon S minimum, which is the jam density. Fine. Speed you already know. Speed is the movement of the vehicle, which is kilometer per hour. Now, if you want to just relate these three things, then we can say that the traffic capacity is equal to the traffic density into the speed. The traffic capacity is equal to the traffic density into the speed. It means that you can say that if Q is the traffic capacity, then K is the traffic density and V is the traffic speed, then Q is equal to K into V will be the relation. So this is a general relation which you can say that the capacity is equal to the density into speed. This is the capacity has a unit of vehicle per hour, the density has a unit of vehicle per kilometer, and the speed has a unit of kilometer per hour. This will get cancelled out. You will get vehicle per hour equal to the vehicle per hour. It means that the density and the speed has a multiplicative term which is equal to the capacity. Now, this is the relation on which a question arises of maximum capacity. Maximum capacity. If you remember your class 12th mathematics, there we had a chapter which is known as the maxima and minimum. There we had a chapter which is known as the maxima and minima. In this chapter, what we used to do, we used to convert the function which is having two variables into a single variable function. For example, if a is equal to x into y, then you first has to convert y into x so that you will get a is equal to x into something like x by b. So that you get converted the total function into a single variable function. Then what you will do, you will just differentiate this function with respect to this variable and put it equal to 0 so that you can get the value of this function, this variable, for which this function is maximum or minimum. So it means that what we were doing, we have a double variable function, multivariable function, and in that function what we used to do, we used to convert that into a single variable function. Y को x की terms में convert करते थे. After converting y into the terms of x, what you have to do, you have to just differentiate that function with respect to the variable, and then you have to calculate the value of that variable for which that function will be maximum or minimum. The same case is here. In this case, if they are asking you to calculate the maximum capacity, then what you have to do is that now you have the relation Q is equal to K into V. If you will see this relation, then you can say that K is a density which is variable, V is the speed which is also variable, and Q is the capacity which is also variable. It means that all the three things are variable here. Density means the number of vehicles present in a kilometer length of roadway. वो कभी भी zero भी हो सकता है. It can be 0, it can be equal to the maximum density. Similar case is the V, which is the speed. Speed can also be minimum, speed can also be maximum. It is basically a variable quantity. It means that if K and V both are variable, then Q will also be variable. But if you want to calculate the maximum capacity, then you have to convert this function into a single variable function. It means that either you have to convert this V into K, or you have to convert this K into V. In any of these cases, you must be requiring a certain equation. And that equation will always be provided to you in a question like that. V is equal to V naught 1 minus K by Kj. They will say that V is equal to V naught 1 minus K by Kj, where V naught is the maximum speed, which is known as free speed, and Kj is the jam density. Kj is the jam density. Now, one thing is clear. If a value is changing between 0 to maximum value, then you can say that it is a variable. It can be 0, it can be anything between 0 to max. But if you say that this is maximum, means that maximum quantity can only be constant quantity. If I am saying that this is maximum, the maximum can be maximum only. एक ही value हो सकता है. You cannot say the maximum can be less than this, less than that. Maximum is maximum. It means that the maximum value of anything will be a constant value. So we can say that this maximum speed as well as maximum density is a constant value. ये change नहीं हो सकता है. क्यों नहीं हो सकता? क्योंकि maximum तो maximum है. It means that you have a relation of V is equal to V naught 1 minus K by Kj. In this relation, what you can see is that this V naught is the constant quantity, this Kj is the constant quantity. It means that in this particular relation of Q is equal to K into V, if we will replace the value of V with this particular relation, like U is equal to K into V, this Q is equal to K into V, and then you will replace this as K into V is equal to V naught 1 minus K by Kj. You will replace this, you will get this relation. In this relation, you can see that you have only one variable quantity, that is K. K is here, K is here. Rest of the quantities are not variable, which are maximum or constant. It means that now we have a single variable function, and we can now differentiate this function with respect to the variable which is present here. It means that now you can differentiate this dq upon dk, and you can put that equal to 0. If you will differentiate that, you will see this will equal to 0. This v get into 0, and you will get k ka differentiation is 1 minus k square ka differentiation is 2k by kj. This is equal to 0. It means you will get this k is equal to kj by 2. You will get the value of the variable quantity. Like यहाँ पे what you have to do, you have to calculate the value of x for which this function is maximum or minimum. Now we have this value of k for which this function will be maximum or minimum. Now you just have to put the value here. You will get q max, which is the maximum capacity, is equal to v naught into this kj by 4, which is the maximum capacity. It means that if the density and the speed relationship is linear, this is linear, and it is given by this equation, then the maximum capacity is given by q max is equal to v naught into kj by 4. Remember one thing, remember the concept. You need not to cramp this relation. ये book में direct दिया हुआ है, आपको रटना नहीं है. You just have to like get the concept. they can change the equation. Equation can be anything. इस equation को वो कैसे भी मोड करके दे सकते हैं. The concept is that you have to convert this function into a single variable function. वो आप पे डिपेंड करता है how you can convert that into any variable function which is present there. Then you have to differentiate that function with respect to that variable to get the value of that variable so that you can calculate the maximum value of that function by calculating the value of that particular variable for which you are differentiating. समझ में आ गया? In this particular case, what we are using the value of speed, and then you are using that relation to convert the speed into the density. Now you will differentiate the value of capacity with respect to the density to calculate the value of density, and then you will use the value of that density into the function to get the value of the maximum capacity. The equation can be anything. For example, they can say that this V is equal to V naught वाली equation को they can change that. They will say that K is equal to Kj 1 minus V upon V naught. कोई दिक्कत नहीं थी. We have a relation Q is equal to K into V. Now you will replace K. You will get K is equal to Kj 1 minus V upon V naught into V. Now what you will do? You have Kj and V naught, which is the maximum and the constant quantity. Now we will differentiate it with respect to V. And we will calculate the value of V. Then we will put here, you will get the value of maximum capacity. Relation, कुछ भी हो, concept is same, process is same. So इस तरीके से they are asking the question, different questions. Now if you want to study the relationship between the traffic volume and the traffic capacity in a theoretical way, then you can study in this way. You can study in this way. देखो, initially when the speed is zero, vehicles are not moving, they are in starting position. You can say that the density is maximum. Initially when the speed is zero, the density is maximum, and the volume or capacity is the same thing. The volume or capacity is zero. Speed is zero. Both of these things are zero. Now when the speed started increasing, the density 100% sure पहले जितना vehicle खड़ा हो सकता था, moving condition उससे कम ही होगा. Density means vehicles should be in a standing position. The maximum density means that they are in a standing position, they are at a minimum spacing. When they start moving, the spacing will definitely be increased. It means that density will decrease. The density will decrease, but the volume or capacity will increase. जैसे जैसे speed बढ़ता जा रहा है, this will be the process. Density will keeps on decreasing, capacity will keeps on increasing, but this capacity will increase till a peak point, which is the maximum point. ध्यान से समझना. What is capacity or volume? The number of vehicle moving on a particular road section in a unit time. पहले एक घंटे में आप जो number of vehicle you are measuring, they were continuously increasing with the increasing value of speed. But at a certain time, there will be a certain amount of vehicle, which will be the maximum of vehicle, which will be present on that particular road section. After that, when they will be maximum, there will be existing a certain situation in which the spacing between the vehicle increase. When the spacing between the vehicle increase, then in that particular case, there will be less number of vehicles present on that particular road section. It means you can say that the number of vehicles which will keeps on increasing at a certain point, they will start decreasing after reaching a peak point. It means that the volume and capacity will increases up to the peak point, and after the peak point, it will be decreasing with the increasing value of speed. It means we can now say that there may exist a situation in which the both density and capacity or volume both will be decreasing simultaneously, both will be decreasing together. It means after reaching a peak value, the capacity will also be decreasing with the increasing value of speed, and at very high speed, when the speed V becomes V max, at that case the density K will become 0 and the volume will also become 0, or the capacity will also become 0. This type of relationship can be studied with the help of a parabolic curve, which says that if this is a curve, if you want to draw the curve, like in this particular region, let's say this is capacity. In this case, this is capacity, and this is, let's say, this is density. Now, when the density is 0, when the density is maximum, let's say यहाँ पे density is kj, the capacity is 0. Also, we know that when the density is 0, the capacity is 0. It means the capacity is 0 at two positions. First position will be when the density is maximum, then also the capacity is 0. When the density is 0, then also the capacity is 0, or the volume is 0. Initially was also 0. Now, we know one thing more, that this capacity will increase up to a certain point. Let's say it will increase up to here. This is the case where the capacity is at its maximum value. Let's say this is Q max. It means here the K will be value of K for which the capacity is maximum. After reaching this peak value, the capacity again keeps on decreasing and it will reach a final point where the capacity will become zero at a very high speed. It means in this particular case, the speed will be V max. In this particular case, the speed will be zero. It means with the increasing value of speed, the particular case, the capacity will increase up to a peak point and then it keeps on decreasing. This curve is a 2-degree curve. You can see this equation also which we have formed. हमने capacity और density की equation बनाई थी. See this equation, this is k square. It means this is a parabolic equation. और एक और चीज ध्यान रखना, स्पीड और उसकी इक्वेशन क्या थी, डेंसिटी की लीनियर थी. इसीलिए जैसे जैसे स्पीड बढ़ती रहती है डेंसिटी कंटिन्यूसली डिक्रीज होती चली जाती है और लास्ट में जाके जीरो हो जाती है. डेंसिटी स्पीड जैसे जैसे बढ़ रही है डेंसिटी कंटिन्यूसली डिक्रीज हो रहा है. इट मींस दैट द रिलेशन बिटवीन डेंसिटी एंड द स्पीड इज linear. So in this case they can give any equation. You just have to do one thing, you just have to differentiate that equation. For example, let's take example of a quotient. Equation ले लेते हैं. In this question, they are saying that the speed is defined by the relation speed is equal to 20k. We are 20 minus 42k. This is the equation of the speed. Now they are asking you to calculate the maximum capacity. They are saying that the speed will follow a general relation, which is the linear relation with the density with the equation this. Now we have to calculate the maximum capacity. Now we know that to calculate the maximum capacity, we know this relation is there. Q is equal to K into V. Now we have to convert this relation. Let's convert this equation into a single variable function. K into V means 20 minus, this is 42K. You'll get this equation, this is Q. Now what you have to do, you have to differentiate this Q with respect to K. Then you have to put it equal to 0. Differentiate this. This is 20K minus 42K square. Now you have to differentiate this. This is D over DK. Now you have to put that equal to 0. It means that this will be 20 minus 84K. This is equal to 0. It means K is equal to 20 by 84. It means for this value of K, this is vehicle per kilometer. For this value of K, this Q will be maximum. Let's put that value here. This Q is equal to, this is 20 upon 84 into 20 minus 42 into K. This is 20 upon 84. Again, you have to put this value. You'll calculate the value of Q. This will be the Q maximum. It means that what you have to do is that you have to just put the value, replace the value of V with the value of K, the equation which is having relation with it with the value of K. It means that you first have to convert this into a single variable function. Then you have to differentiate this capacity to get the value of maximum capacity. And to get the value of maximum capacity, you have to calculate the value of density, for which then for the value of what the capacity will be maximum. You just have to put the value of density in that particular equation to get the value of maximum capacity. This is the important question which is generally being asked in the different examination. Now, there's one more term which is like important in traffic cases, which is types of capacities. This is types of traffic capacities. Maximum capacity समझ में आ गया. Types of capacity. Capacity means the ability to handle the traffic or the ability of the road to accommodate the traffic. The first type of capacity is the basic capacity. Basic capacity. Basic capacity is basically known as the ability of the roadway to handle traffic in the undermost ideal condition. It means that this type of capacity is the maximum capacity. This is the maximum capacity. Ideal means you cannot reach that. This is the maximum capacity. Another type of capacity which is defined as the possible capacity. Possible capacity. The possible capacity is a variable capacity. It is a variable capacity which can be 0 to maximum, which can be anything between 0 to maximum, which is the practical, or you can say that possible capacity. In the worst condition, it is 0. And in the most ideal or the perfect condition, it is equal to the maximum capacity, which is the basic capacity. It means that you can say that the possible capacity is less than or equal to the basic capacity. This relation is being asked in the examination 3 or more times. Fine. This is the possible capacity. Another type of capacity is the practical capacity, which is practically present on the road. This is practically capacity, which is practically present on the road, which is actually present on the road. Which is actually present on the road. Just such a road present over, that is the practical capacity. Third is the theoretical capacity. It is the theoretical capacity. The theoretical capacity is equal to 1000 into V in kilometer per hour divided by the distance between vehicles. If you want to calculate the maximum capacity, then the maximum capacity will be 1000 into V in kilometer per hour divided by the minimum distance. The minimum distance is what? This is 1000 into V in kilometer per hour divided by 0.2 into V in kilometer per hour plus L. You must be remembering this relation which we have used in the case of overtaking side distance also. So we have used in the case of overtaking side distance also. This is the minimum distance. Now, if the vehicle are present not at the minimum distance but at any other distance, then in that case what you will use the same relation, but the relation will become the maximum capacity is 13 capacity will be 1000 into V in kilometer per hour. This will be divided by the stopping side distance plus L. If they are far apart, then you will use this distance equal to the stopping side distance. Remember this case. Otherwise, if they are at the minimum distance, then you can use this relation directly. Fine. This is the capacity. There is another term which is known as the passenger car unit. Let's start with that also. This is the passenger car unit. Passenger car unit. Actually, when we have to study the traffic, we have to use this unit as a standard unit. This unit is basically the ratio of the capacity of the roadway. This is defined as the ratio of the capacity of the roadway when there are cars only. When there are cars only to the capacity of the roadway when there is a particular vehicle of that particular class. Actually, by using this relation, what you have to do, you have to convert this vehicle into car. And for the conversion, you have to use a certain unit. But these units basically define how many cars are equivalent to the capacity or the how many vehicles. It means that if you have a particular road section, on this section, if you will just replace the car in the moving condition, and there will be 4 number of cars, then it's 100% sure on the same road section, if you will place the truck, then the truck will be 4. It means that the capacity of the roadway on that particular road section, when there are trucks only, it is 2, and when there are cars only, it will be 4. It means the PSU will be defined as 4 by 2, which is 2. It means that if you have to multiply this truck with the number 2, then you will get that equal to car. It means that the passenger car unit is basically the capacity of the roadway. When there are cars only, the capacity of the roadway when there are vehicles of that particular class. It means that if you are using bus or truck or something like that, then you will get the value which is obviously greater than 1, because the number of cars will be more than the number of trucks which will be like present in the moving condition on the road. But if you calculate the capacity or the passenger car unit for the motorcycle or the scooter, then you know that you can move more number of motorcycles on a particular road section as compared to the car. In that case, the passenger car unit will be less than 1, and if you use motorcycle or scooter, then the passenger car unit is 0.5. So this is the passenger car unit which you have to understand. There is another term which is potential conflict point, which is very much asked in objective. Potential conflict point. Potential conflict point means when the vehicles are moving on a particular intersection, there can be possible number of conflict cases. Possible number of conflict cases means, like if we have a road like this, if you have a road intersection which is like this, somewhat like this. If we have a road intersection which is like this, let's consider this road intersection. Now in this road section, let's say this road is two-way. If this road is two-way, then there will be a divider here. All the roads are two-way. Then in that case, you can say that the vehicles are moving in this direction, the vehicle moving in this direction. The vehicles are moving here like this, the vehicle moving here. And the similar cases with the vehicle moving here and there. In that case, there can be the possible number of conflict points. Means agar ye vehicle nahi aayega, so this can be the conflict. Similar, this can be the conflict point. It means that this can also be the conflict. If you will just make and join all the conflict points, then you will get a number. And that number will specify the number of points where the accident or the possibility of accident can be. You just have to remember these numbers. And there are 3 different cases for that. If both the roads, this is road A and this is road B, if both the roads are two ways, means you can see that दोनों road में there is two-way movement. Then in that case, the number of potential conflict point is 24. If one road is one way, one is one way, and another is two-way, एक है one way, another is two-way, then in that case, the potential conflict point will reduce to 24, says this is reduced to 11. If one is one way, another is two-way, and if both the roads are one way and one way, मतलब ये वाला movement possible नहीं, ऐसे ही जा रहा होगा vehicle, one way and one way, then in that case the total number of potential conflict reduced to 6. So this is 24 when both two way, 11 when one two way and one way, and 6 when both are one way. These can be the possible number of conflict points which can be present. This is the basic part of the capacity and the number of conflict points and the passenger car unit. In the next class, we will start with the traffic control devices. Just revise this class Just practice the previous question. That will be enough for you. Just watch this video 3-4 times so that you can easily understand and get this particular concept into your mind. This is Pandit signing off. Take care. Bye bye. Have a nice day.